Hello, welcome to New Frontier Studios, where there's always something to discover. I'm John Heyman. There's my email if you ever need to contact me. And welcome to my presentation. Right now, we are searching to expand the future of naval gaming, where we believe there is actually a niche in the market that's being untapped. So we believe that if we can adapt to that changing market and grab that niche before others can grab onto it, or it changes in some way, we could make our mark on gaming history and be able to have somewhere to dig our claws in and not be able to be taken away until we are stable and able to expand further. Anyway, I am John Heyman. I am a game design engineer at Cogswell now, USB, and I have created a few other indie games to see some level of success. Most of them are Galaga type games, shoot 'em ups. And so far, since that area has been extremely bloated, as it is an easy area to make a game for. It's very simple. It is somewhere good to start, but not somewhere good to expand in. I think that the best area is somewhere like naval gaming, where there is that untapped potential. And further on, afterwards, I can give you the link to my LinkedIn, which is also in this presentation if you wish to use that. Anyway, a good inspiration for me is George Lucas, simply due to his ability to find where the profit is best to be made in a given medium. First, it started with film industry, with of course his Star Wars films, where his greatest success was being able to retain the merchandising rights for his company and for his brands, thus allowing him to make the most money when it comes to films like Star Wars that actually have a fan base, the toys. So basing on that, we need to make sure that we know where money can be best made for the media we're going. While it may not be toys, maybe it could be DLCs or having people pay for new stuff to be added to the game, etc., etc. We just need to find where that is and then exploit it. Of course, he also started from his love of the industry, which I am coming from the love of my industry. I love games. I love naval games. I'm hoping to use the inspiration as a springboard and something to keep me in the constant love of wanting to expand. Video games, what makes them much better than other types of media, well, not better, but very unique compared to many other types of media, is they're interactive and immersive to the point to where, depending on what you do, can change the story and your skill level in it. So your skill in the game and how what you choose allows you to change the story. I mean, can you imagine watching a movie, clicking a remote, and suddenly the ending's changed? In games, that is possible, depending on what you do. So we need to focus on that. And focusing on that allows for replayability. And having something that's replayable allows customers to have begin to form loyalty. And once you form loyalty, especially if you make the game moddable, which is a bit controversial to the point, is fans can be able to make content for your company, for your game, for you. While you do not make money directly from it, I do believe you make money indirectly, as it further changes replayability, which means loyalty to your brand. So focusing on that, if we focus on that aspect of gaming, I believe that we can gain a loyal base from that allows us to expand from new titles, as well as have these constant fans making new things will allow us to focus on new projects and ideas while they produce well produce the new variations needed to keep having it replayable. Next, we need to focus on things that accentuate this. So, stories which change depending on what the player does and their skill in it is very important, as well as making the player able to change it on their own if they know the code how to. Then, by doing that, we're going to be allowing them to make basically expand the game for us without us making having to spend money for to do that, allowing us to spend money in other areas, thus saving money and time, which we could use to build new products and to ship them out. Now, of course, that is a bit, concurs with the idea that if the more that we expand on that product, the more we sell it. But I believe that although we do not gain that potential money that we get from doing it ourselves, the potential increase in customers and sales from loyalty, I think it makes up well for that. Now, our strength is again that unfed niche. Naval games, while if you look around, you could find a few Cold War or maybe more Renaissance colonial era type games. I believe there is a lack in, sorry, more modern naval combat games or maybe World War II games that are out now. There are some that were made back in the 90s and 20,000s, but I think if we're able to make it now with modern technology, we'll be able to best exploit that and have the technology be the best selling point to that, as we can add much more than what much more back right now than they were able to do back then, simply because of limitations of technology. And by doing that and focusing on the technology, not only that, but allowing this allowing to focus on the fact that we are a digital product means we have infinite range. Language is our only barrier when it comes to gaining access to a new crowd to sell to. Of course, there are some areas where it's hard to sell to, but still, if once we translate it, that means we'd be able to easily ship it out. If we translate our game to French, now we can sell to France or to anywhere that speaks French, to Spanish, anywhere that speaks Spanish, which opens up to Latin America, Spain, large places. And the only reason that would make us better than our competition, which mainly relies on either physical copies, is that you don't need to go to a store. You can buy it directly on the computer, which means we don't have to worry about shipping anything. We save on that, and we can reach all over the world with that idea. Sorry. Now, we do have some weaknesses, of course. Nothing is ever perfect. While we do love what we do, we are inexperienced. Although I do see a way to counter that is simply due to where we are is filled with people that have been in the industry, people who know the ins and outs. As anyone that has done anything would know, if you have someone who has been through what you're about to do, simply asking them what to do and what not to do is a great boon. And we need to focus on that because we have a limited time before that goes. Not only that, the equipment we need to actually start this undergoing to make this company to make games is already at the college. So we're gonna have some time where we have free access to the equipment we need without needing to pay for it, which cuts out a lot of the needed loans, a lot of the needed spending to even just start up, and we can use what we already have, making it much cheaper in the beginning as long as we are able to meet that deadline for our first product. Of course, personally, I'm a lazy person, and I am a proud person, meaning that I do not like admitting I am wrong, but I've been getting better over time, as these projects maybe have shown. Is you need to rely on others when it comes to projects. A team is the most important thing when it comes to projects like this. Undergoing projects like this without a team only will end up in failure moving forward, because one person cannot do everything by themselves. There's always some mistake to mistake that will happen by bias, by inexperience, or by simply time. Less people you have on something, the more time it takes, and vice versa. So to counter that, we need to set up myself with a team, which I need to set myself up with, both to go to work where I'm weak with, and to both how you say it, to work together and what we're strong with to make a good team and to be able to go forward and improve ourselves. Next, we need to find where the market lies. Of course, we know where it is, but we need to know where it lies and what it wants. That way, we can best exploit it. because we may know where. Sorry about the little pause, but we need to find out what it is because simply knowing where something is doesn't mean you know how to best use it. Maybe one thing that we added is not what the players want, and simply not investigating can lead to that mistake. Then to make sure that doesn't happen, and we don't act on only what we know and what our biases are. We need to look to others for what they know and what they have experienced to you know best move forward and best get past other mistakes that others would fall into, and how to best adapt to the mistakes that we might or will make simply by being a new startup company, and how to either maybe even exploit those for our gain. Here's our final logos. This one's more focusing on the idea of a colonial exploration when it comes to what we do if we want to focus on that type of idea, and one more focusing on the world itself if we want to focus on something larger that affects your actions that may affect the world and how it moves forward, we could say. Now, again, as I said before, everyone should always look to others for their knowledge, and no one knows everything. So using the knowledge of others to make up for where you lack is a very important thing to do in order to move forward, especially when it comes to a team situation. Is not everything knows, not everyone knows everything. My bad, about a certain topic, and having other people's expertise on an opinion helps much more than simply your own. Next, you need to make sure to adapt always. If something happens and it slows you down, you need to adapt to it and not let it spread or malform. Otherwise, you're just going to be simply stuck in a situation where all it does is bring you down. Uh, Instead, you always need to look to the best of a situation and make sure it comes out that way. And of course, a failure is part of the cycle, but going back, you need to make sure to learn from it. As oftentimes multiple fail. Success is just someone failing enough to learn what they did wrong. So you need to make sure that learn from people who have already failed, because if you already do that, you might be able to skip that step of failing in order to succeed. So having other people's opinions, a third opinion to what decision you make isn't wrong, and it needs to make sure to actually have it so you don't miss anything. And because nothing is perfect, doing that means you always are improving. Anyway, thank you for taking part in the presentation. This is New Frontier Studios, where there's always something new to discover. I'm John Haman. My email's up there, and thank you for your attention. Have a good day.